Hi there, it's Skyward Shield. Welcome to a new Smite video. Today we're going over the patch notes for Rising Flames 3.18. And I'll be honest, I haven't been playing Smite that often, though that is because of college. I still have plenty of footage left to upload, which it seems those are going to have to be one a week along with the Football Talks podcast. So, kind of a bit of an update for my channel. But don't worry, some of these videos. I just recently uploaded a Clash with Monterosso, 15 minutes. But the next one, that one's worth a week. That's a 44-minute video, if I recall. It was a long conquest video. It was a tug of war. That one. It's a good match, except for one person in it. But anyway, that's a bit of a tease for next video. Anyway, we have to go over some new skins. One thing for some reason that's really weird. I cannot. If you try to click the Ao Kuang one. If you click the little speaker, it'll just open a new tab to the same page you're already on. So kind of dumb, but at least we can hear Firelord Ne Zha, which first off, he looks like what's his name? He looks like a character from Sengoku Boss. I can't believe his name escapes me. Oh, Yukimura Sanada, if I'm not mistaken, the Japanese warlord. You know, the one in all red and the two spears. He has his red coat. If you ask me, it looks and you know, the fact that he wears nothing under the red coat, just showing his six-pack, which Christy is probably melting both on the outside and the inside. But anyway, let us play Firelord Ne Zha.
How triggered are you right now?
Oh boy. That is just I love it. I love that line. This already makes me like him because I know Tumblr is gonna hate Ne Zha. And that's because they love their fucking yaoi with him. Don't believe me? I have a very good story to share one day. Maybe if I can get enough of these stupid, weird incidents, I will have like a little Smite video thing where I just talk about weird Smite battles and stories that I didn't record on for a video, or that I might have scrapped. But anyway, Monster Trainer Erlang Shen, which is just Pokemon, like I thought. I mean, he even looks like Red.
I'm all about the fair treatment of animals. I have the koala-fications.
He looks like Red, but I'm okay with that. I like this one. People just saying he's like a morning jogger kind of guy. He looks like a Pokemon trainer. I'm pretty sure Pokemon Go might have had something to do with it. I can't believe Pokemon Go made such a big impact in the world. And Clockwork Knight Ao Kuang, can't hear him because, if you could see it, because if you see the bottom left corner of the video, because I'm recording this in a different way, I don't have my browser full screen like I usually do. It's going to say, you see on the bottom left the link showing the same link to the patch notes. Anyway, Ao Kuang also got updated mastery skins. Please update the gods I like in the future. Ne Zha, Chronos, Sylvanas. Achievements, Odyssey, they've added Monster Trainer, Clockwork Knight on here, and an Odyssey award for the Chinese recall effects. Anyway, they fixed an issue with Jing Shan's Mountain leaderboard not scaling properly with screen resolution. Okay, I was actually expecting something else, but anyway, here's where I'm starting to having problems with this patch already. Mind you, I wasn't much into 3.17, but I liked it. I like 3.17, and I didn't even get a chance to try out some of these items in proper combat. But anyway, let's get to it. Hydra's Lament. This one, it has an additional passive, has MP5 by 2.5 per 10% of your missing maximum mana. Okay. Increased physical power from 30 to 40. The power, not so much, but just know, Loki's, if they don't pick this thing up already, they're going to pick it up again. Next, reinforced greaves and shoes get nerfed. I mean, Duke Sloth made a rant about it, and he's complaining about it. But the only counter I have to him, because he's not wrong when it comes to things about complaining about items being overpowered or underpowered. No one's really right or wrong. It's just where you stand on this. And honestly, what would you suggest? Undo everything and bring these shoes to the bottom, back to where they were before? Because then nobody picked them up. I picked up reinforced shoes, but that's because I got Breastplate of Valor for cooldown on my Kepri or my Athena. Because I wanted that CC reduction and that extra early extra HP, so that way I could just go to town. I could be aggressive. I'm not, I'm not gonna kill people, but at the very least, I can go in there, take a little bit of hits earlier in the early game. I can tank early game. That's the thing with these shoes. Anyway, so here's the thing. Power reduced from 15 to 10. Health reduced. It got cut in half for both of them. It reduced CC reduction from 30 to 20 for both of them. And the passives for both of them are now reduced. The protections are now 5 to 3 stacks. But the maximum stack count... Or, no, the protections are reduced from 5 to 3. I'm mixing it up here. But the maximum stack count can be 5 to 6. So, going by 5, that's 25 protections with the old one. But with the new one, it's 18. So, it's in the long way. I was suggesting 3 anyway if they were going to do this. I mean, I didn't say it out loud, but this is what I was thinking of anyway. Anyway, other things getting nerfed. I don't see why Void Shield had to get nerfed, though the price from 2 to 3 is higher. From the second level shield to the third, it's now 1090, so 2700 total, and the physical protections are 50 to 40. This thing, I think it's still going to get picked up, but I never picked it up, but I could see its uses. The whole point of it is, like, it's defenses, but you're also getting power to make up for it, and you're nerfing those that you fight. Well, you're more of a tank shredder with this thing. Anyway, the other one, this is the one. I don't get it. Why'd you buff this thing if you're just going to nerf it back to the ground? Witchblade's protections are dropped from 60 to 50. Here's the thing. What makes it a bit of a problem is when other ADCs pick it up, because that means they could take on another ADC or a high attack speed based god like a Sol or Kronos, and those guys, their attack speed is going to be nerfed. It's going to be weakened. So unless they built a crap ton of attack speed, they're not going to shred you as fast, because remember, you're getting physical protections at the same time. This was good on someone like an Ares or just an support who wanted to go up, because if you're a support and you've got a bunch of high attack speed based gods, like say you have an Osiris or a Raven, a ADC, and a mid type ADC like a Sol or Kronos, Witchblade is great, because in a team fight where they can't avoid you, you're lowering their capabilities. Their DPS is weaker. So why buff this thing in the first place? Because honestly, I think some people complain about it for the sake of they nerf things and buff things for the sake of what the fans want. Because at the end, everything is just a popularity contest. Neither of these things are right or wrong. I have to be honest. I have to be fair there, because otherwise I'm being a hypocrite. But these things, I mean, we haven't even gotten to the gods yet. The gods one, they piss me off. But reinforced greaves and shoes, I'm pretty sure they might get picked up. But if you don't see these things getting picked up anymore, high res is just, well, people don't like it. We're gonna stop it. We're gonna stop it. Forget it. We're gonna undo everything. If you're just gonna, why change things if you're just gonna revert back because people don't like change? Because yes, we have so much evidence to prove this. Anyone who says otherwise is a liar, not only to you but to themselves. But people don't like change. Even if they want it, when it happens and it's not to their exact specifications, they're gonna get mad. And hell, not everyone likes the same thing you want. So you might like the change. I did, because I like to play tankier characters. But others who don't like it, they want to be ADCs or assassins because they just love killing people. They love getting the kills. They want the glory. They want the penta-kills. They want the godlikes in every match. But these are not denying it per se, but making it harder. And they're the ones that are complaining most of the time. And here's where I go on the other side. Gods who are doing good damage, but are overpowered for some real weird reason. Because the last god that we talk about, I'm going to remind people what they said about her, and then another god that people were complaining about only just recently. Agni is persist time of flame wave from 0.5 to 1. I believe that's just the one where you just like ignite. That one. I haven't played Agni, so yeah. I know I've seen him. I've seen people use him, but yeah. So the flames last a bit longer. which is okay for him, I guess. Chiron, an issue with Centaurus. Cupid is getting a weird change. He's get. It seems every now and then an assassin or an ADC is just getting a huge power shift. Like, it's subtle, but at the same time they're going to be changed for completely different from how they used to play. That isn't retooling to their kit, like not a new kit. Anyway, so Lovestruck's tool tip has been adjusted to accommodate for changes listed below. Heart Bomb increased cooldown from 10 to 12 seconds. However, the radius for the Heart Bomb's explosion area is 20 to 30 units, and there's an effect to Heart Bomb to indicate the explosion area. So, on one hand, you're going to get a bigger range, but people can see it, and the cooldown's longer. I guess that's an okay trade-off. I think that one's okay. Share the Love. No longer consumes Love-struck heart stacks. Flutter. Flutter can no longer provide attack speed when cast. Flutter now provides 4 to 20 AMAL passive attack speed. Reduce the cooldown from 1915 to 1612. Pretty okay. I mean, you're trading it off, but at least you could use this thing more. The only problem I have... I mean, Cupid always knows when to escape. Cupids always escape at the right time when you're about to destroy them. Field of Love. Change how this ability functions with Lovestruck. Fields of Love now memorizes enemies for 1.5 seconds when activated with less than 8 hearts. At max hearts, the Mesmerize is increased to 3 seconds. So, this is what it is. Usually Cupid would do this to surprise people or just to save himself or his allies because they can't do anything when you're in there unless they beads. And here's the thing, the stun is even better if you get it at max hearts. These guys have to beads out of the situation, otherwise, because if you're using this to follow it up, oh, not this time. You guys may see it barely on the bottom left, bottom right of the screen, but I get a curse call. Not this time, bitches. I muted curse on my settings, like so that way you don't hear the song or the sound effect. So go ahead, try to call me all you want. I'm not going to hear it, and it's not going to disturb the recording session. Well, unless I point it out. But anyway, yeah. So this thing has more tactical practicality. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting you get my idea. This thing, the stun is much longer, so you are, unless they beads out of it or have a Magi's Blessing to escape it, they're going to have an easier time, or your allies who burst, like, they need someone to stand still, like a Ra, a Scylla, those type of gods who need to get the shot or else they are fucked. This is where the Cupid will be great with them. So pair Cupids with Ra's. I mean, if you want to be an even bigger dick, what you do is have Ares ult people, then Cupid drops the Fields of Love, and if you have like a Scylla, she's getting a fucking pentakill or a quadrikill. You're gonna get wrecked. Fafnir. They fixed his Gryffindor Faf to have his laughing audio, which I heard that was a weird thing. You wouldn't do it. Anyway, Wing Gust gets a buff for Isis, scaling from 30 to 40. I guess they're buffing from some mages as well. There's been this trend where one mage, it's like a wheel of old mages who weren't exactly in the meta. I thought Isis was one of the best mages. She's been praised as that, but I don't see people actually playing her. Anyway, so Izanami getting a buff because everyone needs a buff. To me, my case is people, or how do I put it? People just don't know about how to use her. I'm going to bring this up again later when we get to the very bottom of the patch notes, because this is just going to prove my point of how people complain about things just because others have figured it out. Which, little teaser. Anyway, her boomerang effect is a twist. It's no longer 50-50 for each hit. It's 75-25. So your first hit, which you want to get, is going to do the most damage. I mean, it's still 100%. They just changed it a bit. Basic attack speeds also increased from 0.85 to 9.5 because every ADC is weak. We need all of them to get buffed. And now Fade Away. Izanami is now invisible to minions when she begins channeling Fade Away. Another person tried calling me, but not this time. I mean, it's a group chat and I want to leave it, but yeah, I'm just going to get added in anyway. And here, again, Hi-Rez. You're just I mean, you guys listen to any other... It seems they listen to the gods I like. But they won't listen to all the people complain about Loki, which I know they won't nerf Loki. They won't ever because people like the salt, people play him, but also he doesn't get played in the meta. He's not in competitive because most competitive people know how to deal with Loki because they've seen nothing but him in casuals. And if you nerf him too much, you lose his purpose. And they like his kit. He's got one of the most unique kits in all of Smite. Anyway, Divine Judgment, her ultimate's getting a nerf again. Let me actually read this in a snarky, arrogant tone from Hi-Rez. Nemesis has become a strong pick due to direct buffs when she was received, as well as indirect buffs, like the introduction of Wrath and the removal of Red Potion. I wouldn't say it was an introduction. People knew it, but nobody liked using Wrath. Now it's better. We liked her identity as a powerful tank shredder, but felt that her ultimate in particular was too effective in its burst and early game effectiveness. Yes, because 90 seconds was not enough. I mean, if you did it before with the 70, 90 seconds, those 20 seconds mean a lot. Because this thing can be good. If she's getting ganked by somebody, by just one person, especially one that she can just shred and eliminate with basic attacks and they can't escape, especially if they use that escape/jump to come after her, they're fucked. And even if they do have a jump, she can just use her dash. So assuming they go over a wall, she's gonna catch right back up to them. But anyway, that's not enough because her reduction from 30 to 50 is now 20 to 40. Her slow and movement speed decreased is now from 25 at all ranks to 15-25. You gotta work for it. So there is a debate about whether you should skip out before these nerfs to her ultimate came to be. Did she need to be taken out? Like, did she need to get these points on her ultimate? Was there really a need? Or could you just skip it to buff up the 3 or your 1, whatever you want? Whatever you think you needed more. No, now you can't. You just can't. And honestly, remember, before the kin size assassin thing was a big deal. Because remember, at the beginning of the year, people were thinking, Nemesis is shit. She's like the worst assassin in the game. Why is she not helpful at all? But people figured out good builds for her. People figured out it just clicked. I made an example in one call with a couple of friends of mine. In Gen 5 Pokemon meta, Gliscor, or no, was it Gen 4? I think it was Gen 4 or Gen 5, one of them. I mean, Gliscor wasn't that good. I mean, a lot of the pre-Pokemon that were like Gen 1, Gen 2 only, that got evolutions like Magmortar, who is my favorite, Electabuzz to Electivire, Sneasel to Weavile, those, for example. Gligar to Gliscor, because Gligar was stupid. Ground Flying, okay typing, that's a unique one. But he's just not good. Gliscor, not good either to some people. But people started finding right builds for him. Right, when I say builds, I mean like the right moves to give him, right items to give him, and he at the end of the generation. This was right before the next gen, which was either Gen 5 or Gen 6. I want to say this was Gen 5. People figured out how to use him, and at the end of Gen 5's meta days, he was not unstoppable, but he went from shit tier to great tier. Like, this guy was not a always sure pick in teams, but for a Sandstorm team, he's very versatile and very useful. So my point with this little metaphor is that Nemesis was like the Gliscor of Smite, where people said she was bad, people didn't know how to use her, but when it clicked, because this is gonna matter at the end, especially when she clicked, and people found out how to build her and use her powers more properly to adjust to the new era. She's not unstoppable, but she's great. I mean, she kind of can be unstoppable. I mean, I've hyper carried a game as Nemesis. I've never hyper carried before, and it was wonderful for me because I felt so powerful. Like, these guys, they all could have come after me, but as long as my team just did something to get in the way, I could kill them all. It was wonderful. But like, from that angle, yes, a Nemesis can carry, but what's wrong with a hyper carry god? I mean, by that logic, let's nerf Scylla, let's nerf any god, or Kali, let's nerf all gods who are hyper carries then. I mean, Nemesis has the potential. She's no true hyper carry. She's not a Kali. But she can be. She can be a hyper carry, but it's got to be very circumstantial, and that enemy team just cannot have an escape. Ne Zha updated the visual presentation of the critical circles. Raijin, nerfing Raiju and Thunder Crash again. Reduce damage from 80 to 260 to now 60 to 20. Reduce scaling on the thunder damage from 40 to 20%. Oh boy, poor Raijin. But I don't think it's going to take him out of the meta, because Raiju can be annoying late game. Early game, he's not really a problem, if you ask me. It's just late I see the problem. I can understand the problem. The Thunder's Crash, that one I agree with. I gotta be honest, I hate the Thunder Crash, because he can just jump on you and you'll die. It's like, who do you think you are, Mario? Plus, jumping and killing people's Odin's job. Ratatosker. Whenever you see Ratatosker in the patch notes, people just like, oh shit, no, you're gonna nerf my rat, you're gonna repeat history, which I'm pretty sure they're gonna do. Rat will now go to the proper distance when canceling his ability at maximum range. Fix the radius being listed incorrectly on the tooltip. And every Rat fan just wipe the sweat off their brow, because that is clutch. Anyway, here we are. Here's where people, I just want to hammer a point to them. It's the same thing with Nemesis, but let's just read these things first. Standing Stones fixed an issue where the bonus damage was being calculated as true damage. Okay, if that's not what the intent was, fair enough. Crushing Earth, no longer as slow for enemies standing between the standing stones. Thank God, because then it's, unless you have a dash, you're not escaping, and even if you have a dash, you might not escape in time. So I think that's fair. It shouldn't be able to slow. I'm okay with that one. Although I'm surprised nobody's nerfing where it really matters, because there is one thing, because I've mentioned it before, and if I don't think I'm going to remind people, but anyway, I'll get back to it in a moment. Monolith, root duration decrease from 1.5 to 1, so they're nerfing that, which I can understand that a little bit. Patera's Blessing, cooldown 90 seconds, now 110, because it's apparently really broken. Okay. This is fine, not really. Anyway, if they're gonna nerf anything, the one thing they should just nerf was nerf Crushing Earth. If it hits and people are stunned, should drop it from 1.5 to just 1 second. That should have been changed. The root I can live with, but the Crushing Earth was more of a problem, just for that stun. Anyway, does this not sound familiar? Have we not seen recently a Guardian who was like, oh, this guy's shit when he came out. This god was shit. Nobody likes them. Buff them, please. Please buff them. It wasn't that they needed to be buffed, because we buffed them that now they were insane. It's not that. It's the fact that people figured it out. Nobody knows how to play a god when they first came out. Everyone in their PTS videos like, look guys, look at this new god. I play him so well. They're going to be so great. And then they're just disappointed. First off, that's your own problem for setting yourself up for that. If you set above high expectations and it doesn't meet to those expectations, you have no one to blame but yourself. Let's just be honest. We all do this. I've done it too. I did it with Fire Emblem Fates, and well, Conquest wasn't the one I had problems with. This is the other two. Well, Birthright I expected to be shit in terms of story, but Revelations, I haven't even finished it. That's why I can't finish it. It's just, the story is so bad. Contradicting. But anyway, enough. I'm straying from the point. Anyway, people figured out how to use Terra properly. It takes time for these gods to be good. It's like in actual sports. A team, like you can get a team a new coach, maybe get some players that draft free agency, and you're like, why aren't they 9-7? Or why aren't they a playoff team? Why are they not in the fucking finals? Because these things take change. These take time to change. I mean, to be fair, Denver Broncos, I mean, Gary Kubiak was the first year coach and he could do it. But that can happen. But it's not always a guarantee. His case, that team was already talented, and John Fox just left, but you know. Let's not get into sports because nobody here is here for the sports. The point is, it takes time for gods to be understood, and when they're understood, that's when they get into the meta, and that is when they can surprise people because you're so used to them not being played in a competitive sake because you're thinking, oh, they suck. Nobody knows how to use them. Yes, people are going to learn how to use them. It won't be long now before Izanami starts to become a threat because it's going to click with somebody. They're going to tell people, hey, look, I figured out how to use Izanami properly. Here's how. And it just spreads. People were complaining about this with Fafnir. Buff Fafnir. And I was like, please nerf Fafnir. I don't like him. I'm afraid of him. Maybe some of his things were a bit too broken. I can understand, but to be fair, that wouldn't have been an issue if you never buffed him over the top like he needed to in the first place. Jing Wei, the only reason Jing Wei is not godly overpowered is because in Conquest, her passive, while really good, is not as broken as in, say, Joust or Arena, where you can pretty much go to the other side of the map if you want. And plus, her ultimate's still a shit. It's not that it's bad. It's just that it's a really glorified escape. That's all it is. And sometimes it doesn't even work. But the, that's pretty much my rant on these gods being nerfed more than they should. It's not that they were. It's one thing if their stats were overpowered, because core stats and core abilities are another thing. But it's because of people using proper items to use them, build or leveling up their skills a certain way makes them broken. It's not that they are inherently bad. It's that people just clicked in their heads. I'm saying clicked a lot because it's just a fact. People learned how to use Terra. People learned how to use Fafnir. People learned how to use Nemesis. And because they learned, and because other people aren't trying to really counter it, they just wanted to be nerfed. Because everything can be answered with a nerf. Just nerf them. So nobody will play them. So we can all just play Loki. But they'll never nerf Loki. Anyway, I think that's enough of my rant, because I'm going to kill my throat at this rate. I could go on all day with this stuff, by the way. Just stop nerfing my gods that need it. Buff the gods that need it, like a goddamn Sun Wukong. Don't let DreamHack tell you anything. Just buff the gods that do need buffs, like Sun Wukong. And I can't think of another god that could really use a buff at the moment. You know, those garbage tier gods that aren't great. But anyway, I think that'll do it for this video. Have any comments, remarks, or hell, if you disagree with what I'm saying, go ahead. I don't mind if you disagree. Because my only problem is I don't like that the Guardians are getting nerfed, because the whole point is that they're meant to challenge those shred gods like ADCs, but how can you protect yourself against an ADC if the ADC is going to kill your Guardian in 3 hits? 3 basic attacks, because they have insane crit and penetration. Okay. But anyway, I think that'll do it for this video. I will see you guys later.